How is everyone doing today? Super excited to have another tomato plant to show you. It is in ragged shape, so I don't want this to be indicative of this type of tomato in general, but this is the Evil Olive. It is October 11th of 2023. Going to get some of these off and kind of tell you what I know about a little bit. Even though this is a wonky grow, a lot of my videos ain't meant to be tutorials. They're meant to be like mini stories from my personal experience. I share them with friends and family mostly, and just kind of document how things turned out for me. So I would hate for something bad to show up in one of these videos and have somebody judge the tomato or pepper or whatever they are watching as that being what your experience would be. Your personal experience is almost going to be completely different from mine. This is the Evil Olive Pepper. Some of the things I can say about it offhand is it's an indeterminate plant. I'm not sure if it's got heirloom status or not, which usually means it's been about 40 or 50 years or has a strong cultural relevance attached to it. We have had quite a few of these off of here already and haven't had the greatest experience with the flavor. I'm not quite sure if that's our grow, but it could definitely be our grow. So I would love to have a rematch in one of these upcoming years, but based on what I've learned from it so far, I'm not that into the flavor. We'll take it inside and we'll have some tests off of it. This is an indeterminate variety. Another thing that I did notice when I looked it up again online is that it is a slow producer too. It's one that will produce quite a bit. There's tufts of them that are up in here. See, there's one right here. It's kind of ripish. A lot of these we're going to leave on the counter though for a day or two and let finish ripening out a little bit and then save the seeds on. We'll definitely test one or two inside for you guys to take a better look at it. They're generally green tomato, but they are slow producers like I was saying. They tend to ripen at the very end of the season, and since we have such a short season in the area I live in, which is Zone 6B, southwestern Utah, but notably about 6,500, almost 7,000 elevation, which can also have a huge effect on gardens as well. It's a little tougher to grow in high elevations than it is. You got the whole plant, huh?
It's just so flimsy.
Our garden's about ready to collapse though, so we're just super happy to try to get as many videos as we can in before we start tearing stuff down and bracing to see what might make it for another day. But this is the Evil Olive tomato. The original reason that I got excited to try to grow this is I think I had a person in one of my comment sections of my video asking me about it, and I never really heard that much about this one. It may be an heirloom, I'm not quite sure, but I went and looked it up. It just had a cool color, had a cool name. I'm a sucker for things like that. Really strong grower. It is in a good spot in our yard, so I'm not quite sure how it would have done under a more restricted or less light spot, but it ended up in a good spot. We got plenty to try out and give a close look to. It's the Evil Olive tomato. Take this inside and catch another look. Love you guys. Catch you in a second. All right, so this is the Evil Olive tomato. Here's some that we pulled off too. We're going to let some of those ripen for a day or two, and then we're going to save seeds from. I'll only cut open one or two of these here for you, but I like to show you the color on these. They start off completely green, maybe a little bit of streaking going on, and then they start to get almost like a Home Depot orange, I would call it. Not really a bright red or orange on them. The green that stands out looks really cool. Like I was saying, I'm a sucker for cool names, cool grows. This one, it does take a little bit longer to ripen, and it does take a little bit longer than other cherry or smaller type tomatoes to produce, but when it does, it just explodes in growth and tons of it. I can't remember the name of the commenter that recommended this one, but I'm super happy they did. I'm not sure if I'll grow it based on the flavor that I've gotten from these so far this year. I'll explain a little bit more after we get some open and try them out. This one looks ready to go. Oh, it's actually starting to split, just being off the vine. All our grows are bad this year. I want to remind everybody of that. Every time is kind of like that. Look at that really rich color. They do grow a little bit bigger than you would expect from a typical cherry tomato. They're a little bit bigger than our Sun Gold that we grew this year.
Or the black cherry.
The black cherry, which is our favorite. I think since it's cold outside where we're at right now, and these come off the vine a little bit cold, I think that helped out a lot. It helped firm up the consistency of it a little bit. Online, they do say that these set on the counter for a long time, so they do keep well off the vine for a long period of time. I've noticed that that might be a trait of green tomatoes. I'm not quite sure. Just my opinion, or kind of what I think I might be seeing out in the yard, is green tomatoes that are considered ripe when green. The Cherokee green, the Wagner blue green, this one here. All of them seem to be kind of rated as ones that stay on the counter a little bit longer than you would expect. I'm not quite sure if they're just getting pulled green though. But this one you can tell when it's ripe, when it starts to get that coloration. These ones have been on for a while. This one is a little bit firm. What I was going to tell everybody about earlier that I was kind of off about, I find it super unique, but I also find it a little bit off-putting personally. You may not find it that way, and it may not be true about this type of tomato at all. But what I find about this one is it almost has a ketchup flavor. And not just a ketchup flavor to me. This one was a little bit firmer than what I'd had on the other ones, but I believe it's because the tomatoes are cold from the yard just now. It also has almost like a tomato consistency. Like when these ones start to get super, super ripe, they don't really get mealy like you'd expect a lot of tomatoes to get. And then also with like cherry tomatoes, when they start to get overripe, they get really, really juicy. This one doesn't seem to get juicy. It seems to almost like the interior of it breaks down to a smooth, almost tomato ketchup, like a ketchup consistency and flavor. It does have a strong flavor. It's not one that I would say that is in my preference as being preferable, but I could find out how a lot of people would like this one. Personally, Angel likes hers ripe, maybe not overripe, but overripe doesn't really bother her, but she likes hers, you know,
Right.
definitely ripe. Me, I like my tomatoes a little bit under. I don't want them green, of course. They'll make you sick if you eat too many green tomatoes like that. But I like mine just at the cusp of ripening. The reason I like it that way is because I like the tomato more firm as far as slicing into things. If Angel was to make salsa and I was to make salsa, hers would be like a wet salsa and mine would be almost like just a chunked up vegetable salsa.
Pico.
But yeah, I got the same thing from it, even though it's a little bit firmer from being cold. We'll see what Angel thinks about it though. Like I was saying, we've had several of these. It's like I almost just put like a little like tomato shell worth of ketchup. Like I just put ketchup on the piece that I just eaten and had it. And it is a good flavor.
Yeah, it's milder compared to some of the other tomatoes that we grow. It does have a strong flavor, and I can see the ketchupy, but I also think that this would be one would taste better if you put salt on it. Like some people like to put salt on their salt and pepper on their tomatoes, and I think this is one of those. You put salt on it, it enhances the flavor. It's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I
Not my
wouldn't.
favorite, but it's not too bad.
The other ones that we grew, the other cherry we grew in the yard this year, the black cherry and the sun gold, and this one here, we always try to mix it up. The black cherry is one that'll always make it into our yard, and then we usually have one or two other types. This is one that I kind of brought into the yard because it was just cool name, cool colors and look to it. It was an established variety, which is important to us because we save seeds. We'll be saving seeds on this one. I just personally, the flavor isn't the kind of flavor I'm looking for. I'm looking for a more smoky flavor or maybe a rich tomatoey flavor. These would be excellent for salads though, or like
Yeah.
Angel was saying, to snack on. You cut them in half, put a little bit of salt on the halves, and then as much as it produces, you can use that for an entire meal probably.
Yeah.
It's hard to ever recommend a cherry tomato to put on a salad or not a salad, into a salsa or anything though, because it would just be a kind of hassle to dice them up. The consistency though is what I find really curious about these though. It's like smooth. It doesn't become mealy when it's overdone, and it doesn't become overly juicy. It's like the interior of it kind of breaks down into this smooth substance that's a lot like ketchup. And then whenever I've eaten it, it feels like that's kind of too. It's like it has like I just drank ketchup out of the bottle inside of the tomato. So I don't know if that's personal as well. We're just a small family. This is our first time ever growing this one. I haven't learned a lot about this one. I'm not sure if I would grow it again. There's just too many different varieties of tomatoes, and peppers out there to put. I could grow different varieties, 20 different varieties of each every single year for the rest of my life and not hit all the different ones that I would like to try. And plus, we have the ones like the black cherry I was saying is our favorite cherry tomato that has to be in the yard. Angel demands it. So this is the Evil Olive tomato, October 11th of 2023. I might take you outside for one last look at the plant. If I don't, this will be the end of the video, but super excited to get another one done. Our entire yard's about to collapse into the cold, and we're just doing what we can while we can. All our videos are basically one takes. We're just our personal opinions meant for friends and family. If you find something interesting or learn something from these videos, I'm super happy. I would still recommend you take a look elsewhere though, because I've
Do
watched
your
several
research, yeah.
videos on everything that I grow, and one of the best things I like is just everybody's opinion's different. My grow area is different. There's so many, the area in my yard, I could grow this one in the opposite side of the yard next year and come up with a completely different plant and personal experience, or I could grow it in the exact same spot and just have a different kind of season for it. So we've had a wonky season, UT Angel and Kiddo, and catch you guys in just one more second. I'll show you one last look. All right, the Evil Olive. I know in this mass it's going to be hard to tell. It grows all through into the back of there, over the fence, and drops down. Most of this that you're seeing all through here is from two plants in this bin right here. We have a stake to prop it up, cage to kind of hold it together. If I let this plant go, it probably would have gotten to 9-10 feet tall. We tend to start laying them over like vines. But the Evil Olive tomato, if you've never grown it before, I highly recommend. Don't let my personal experience defer you from giving it a try. I know several people have said that this is an excellent tomato. I think it is an excellent grow. It may be a little bit slower to produce, but when it does, it's got clusters and clusters and clusters that we've been pulling off of here late season. So UT Angel and Kittle, the Evil Olive tomato, October 11th, 2023. Love you guys, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.